Morning Miners, Pakratt here again with another video for Mindcrack over here at the good land where you expect me to be. Been still working on the witch farm. It's going to be a project for a little bit. Well, not a little bit because actually I'm pretty close to done with it. But I've gotten quite a bit done. If I remember correctly, the last time that I showed you around there, there was land. There's not so much land anymore. It's pretty much covered up for the most part. Not perfect. There's still there's still a little bit to go, but it's at the point where it doesn't really affect too much. Let me just get my guy ready here. Gotta set him up. I just came back, and when I came over here at nighttime, a zombie came up to me holding his leash, which was kind of freaky. I won't lie. That was different, and this is just freaking me out now. So we're just gonna cover this up for the most part. I do want you, sir, are in the wrong place. Go away. You know, it's really loud, really obnoxious, but I have a really hard time not messing with Bob. Every time. But we're busy. We're busy. We don't have time to mess with Bob. Well, let me get the lily pads, because I was trying to make a pathway over there. So, actually, we're going to put this here. I can move this to here. There we go. That's better. Cute. I did need one bucket of lava for something over there. And I just forgot the lily pads I was going back for. But as you can see, the land, for the most part, is cleared out. Like I said. Which is good, because there was a lot of it. It did take a little while. I've been collecting lily pads so that I can have a pathway over there that doesn't spawn mobs on it. And, well, it's been pretty successful. Alright, now he's going to be fine. I did not know it was getting nighttime. That's actually kind of funny. It's like he knew. He knew. He knew it's time. He knew. Now, if you can see over there, that's that redstone block right there. And that one right there. Those are the boundaries where I got to clear stuff out. Now, I'm not entirely sure if it's supposed to be a radius or if it's supposed to be a block size thing. So I don't know if it should be a radius here or if it should be like from that point to that point to that point. I'm not entirely sure. I get lost on that particular thought. But I have gotten it working. There is a few issues, but now, last time I showed this video, a lot of people actually pointed out a few of the things that are wrong with my design. And they were correct. One of the major actually, before I tell you exactly what's wrong with it, we're going to go to the single-player world I got set up to test this thing out. And I'm going to show you exactly what I'm doing here. Because, as you can tell, things have changed. So, be right back. Okay, so welcome to my single-player world. Right now, we are standing in front of what I like to affectionately call the Thermometer. This is the witch spawner that I found in this world. Well, at least the top of it. We're way up in the sky right now. We're actually, if you look at the wrong button, look at the Y. We are at Y182, which is the perfect height, and it's awesome up here because everything is spawning perfectly. Now, if we look down below, we have a general witch spawner design. We have the whole diamond patterned roof. By the way, I did not do the diamond patterned roof in Mindcrack for no particular reason whatsoever. I could. I just didn't. It's pretty much that simple. I just didn't really feel like it, so there we go. I might switch to it at some point eventually. It doesn't really matter. But this is the new witch spawner. And this is going to be what I'm going to be using in Mindcrack. If you could tell, it's pretty effective. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Weather clear. Stop it. Stop with the rain. No. No. Now, this is actually done in a vanilla world. Obviously, I have creative mode, but it's done completely in a vanilla aspect outside of the fact that I can spawn items. So, the only thing that I used MC Edit for was just to clear out an area around it. And honestly, I didn't even really have to do that. I only did it over here because there happened to be a mountain right next to the swamp. I could have just gone through and removed all the trees like I did in Mindcrack and just flattened out the water, because that would have worked just as well. But, you know, I did this instead. So, let's go over what is different with this one. Now, one of the things that people pointed out to me when we were looking at the witch spawner that I have over in Mindcrack is the major flaws that are in this is, one, that things other than witches spawn, and two, that things that spawn will despawn before they die. Let's start with the one where they die. The way I originally had this set up is I had it go from here directly to here. Oh, you're loud. To a simple death by falling. So they would go here, they would fall the 30 some odd blocks that's required onto a slab which had some I always try to say filters. They had hoppers on it. They would collect the items, you know, similar to what's over here, and then they'd die. And we'd get the items. Here's the problem. The way that I have this set up, and I showed you guys in the last episode how this works, where when you're 128 blocks above the highest point where the witches are going to spawn, then that's all it's going to spawn. And so when you're up there, that's ideal. Right? That's the easy part. The problem is that when I had them going over to the fall trap, they'd fall beyond 128 blocks. So, duh, they despawned on the way down. So it was it wasn't completely ineffective, because when you say that they instantly despawn at 120 blocks, they don't instantly despawn. They just normally despawn very, very, very quickly. So some were making it down, some were making it down all the way and dying, and we'd get a little bit of stuff, but we weren't getting that much. So I had to come up with something else. Quite simply put, this is just a suffocation trap. What they do is they come over here, they get stuck in the line. This is nothing new. This is all stuff that you can find everywhere. They get in the line, they go up here, they go straight up. Now, there's two options here. We can have them go up here and go over to the right, and they can be dropped down to their death. And honestly, that's the fastest option. That is ideal. That's not what I'm using. We'll get into why I'm not using that in a little bit. But what it does otherwise is it just goes up into suffocation damage until they die, and drops their items straight down to here. And it has been doing quite well. I think I went AFK for, oh, I don't know, like 40 minutes or something like that. And yeah, it's running quite well. You just saw from when we I just randomly stopped flying for a second. You could tell from when I was just randomly sitting up there for a few minutes. I didn't start up there. I just flew up there for the beginning of this video. And when I came down, you saw there was witches aplenty. It's effective. It's very effective. I love it. But that's the easy part. Okay, let's just go ahead and kill you for a minute so we can stop with the noises. Alright, but that's the easy part. Now for the whole why things other than witches spawn in here. And honestly, the only thing that really matters is spiders spawning in here, and spiders and what's the other one? Slimes, because we are in a swamp, so slimes can spawn in here. Now here's how this works. I did get directed by many people to go and watch JL Zip Code's video on how to do this, okay? Let's go set time day, time set day. You can tell how often I do this. And one of the things that's very interesting about how spawning works is that, well, there's two different ways that things can spawn. Okay, there's more than two different ways. There's actually quite a few different ways, but we're only looking at one major one right now. Well, two. Anyways, okay, so let's look at this here. Now, when we're talking about a witch hut, inside the witch hut, the only thing that can spawn inside a witch hut is a witch hut. Ergo, when the witch hut used to exist here, the only things that can spawn inside the blocks that the witch hut encompasses are witches. Nothing else. You can't have skeletons spawn in there. You can't have creepers, spiders, nothing. Inside that block, if this air block above this one is selected randomly by the game to see if this block was going to spawn something, the only thing that this block right here is going to spawn is a witch. That's the easy part, okay? So that's something that is well known, well-versed, and that's how it works and everything else. That's how you actually work, like, mob traps and everything like that, so... But that makes sense. Now, here's the issue as to why things other than witches will still spawn in here. Because it works two ways, okay? So let's look at it this way. First, the game is going to pick a random block, and when it picks that random block, it picks here. Okay, now there's blocks above here that it can spawn, and when it checks that, it says, okay, so there's enough room. What can spawn on this particular block? Well, witches can spawn here. Okay, so spawn a witch. Done. Nice and easy. Good to go. Here's where it gets a little bit more interesting. Okay, so outside here, if it checks this block, and we have... Then it's going to check here, and if it's out here, it checks it, says, okay, what can spawn... and it randomly checks this air block. Okay, so I'm just going to get something else so we can do some more interesting stuff in a minute. Get that ready to go. So it checks this block right here, this air block, and says, okay, what can spawn on top of this air block right here? Well, first it checks, can it spawn here? Yes, it can spawn here because there's nothing above it. So what can spawn on this block? Now, this is outside of there. So what can spawn here is a skeleton, a slime, a creeper, you know, yada yada. And if it's this big, then it could check, okay, now we can do a spider, we can do a larger slime, or what, you know, all that good stuff, okay? So that's what's checking there, okay? Now here's where it gets interesting. Let's say that air block has this one right here above it. Now this is considered a transparent block in the game. It's not, well, not transparent. It's considered it's like a half, well, it is a half block, but it's not considered a full block. So it's the same thing as with glass or with the pistons or a lot of blocks in the game, as you guys well know, are considered blocks that are not spawnable blocks, but they're considered blocks where, like, if you're stuck inside them, you're not going to suffocate because they're not considered, like, full blocks. All right? These are very interesting blocks. Now, here's where it gets odd. Now it's going to check this block right here, this air block, and you're going to say, can we spawn here? Yes, there are 2 empty blocks above it. But there's not. But it's still going to count that as, is this a spawnable spot? And it's going to first say yes, then it's going to say no. I'm not entirely sure why it does a yes-no type deal. Okay, so this is where it gets weird. Okay, so now it says, okay, let's check this spot. Right here can spawn a skeleton, a creeper, a zombie, or something like that. But we can't do it here because, oh, wait, I'm sorry, I was wrong. There's actually a block here. You can't do it here. Oh, well, is there anything else in the area that it can check? So it not only checks here, it checks here. No, can't do it there. Can't do it there. Can't do it there. Oh, wait. Let's put the zombie over here. It will check up to 5 blocks away from the original block that it's checking to see if it can put it there. I'm not sure if it... I think it just checks it, like, random. So it'll check there, and then it'll check, like, one random spot 5 blocks away, and it'll be like, no. So sometimes it'll check over here. Sometimes it'll check here, here, and here. But every once in a while, it'll check here. Now, this is an issue with a lot of design spawners because, like my old one, if you saw that one before, it would have this set up here. And I would have glass blocks above. I would have redstone running along it. Redstone. I'd have redstone running along it, and then you gotta be kidding me! Fine. I'm not even on Mindcrack and it's still raining like crazy. Gotta love that. Go away. And just so we take care of things ahead of time. Alright. And then I would have glass blocks or half slabs above this right here. So it would be a non-spawnable area. Where on earth did you guys come from? Well, whatever, that's a moot point. So it would be a non-spawnable area, but then it would check this block, and it would be like, oh, wait, we can't put it here, but we can put it over here. And so slimes would spawn, and creepers, and yada, 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 yada. So we had a lot of issues with that inside there. Now here's where it gets really, really odd. What if this block up here is solid? It's not a half slab, it's not glass. So now when it's checking this air block, it's looking immediately above and says, okay, can we spawn on this block? No. We can't spawn on this block because there's a solid block right over top of it. End of discussion. That's it. It doesn't check over here, it doesn't do anything. So if the block over the top of a block that is normally spawnable, like if we had redstone right here, because we got to use redstone. It's just something that you can't avoid inside a thing like this. But when you do put the redstone block here, you need to have something above it to make sure that nothing spawns. But you got to have a solid block now. So that I learned from JL Zip Code as being good. Now when JL Zip Code did it, his video has a really, really fancy contraption where you have all the pistons. First of all, he had all these as redstone blocks. And he has this being light blocks that when it pushes into it and it's moving the item, the light blocks turn, the redstone lamps turn on, so nothing's going to spawn there while it's in the wrong spot. And the whole mechanism was pushed way back here to give a lot more maximum space for things to spawn, because the more open area you have, the better for spawning. And oh, it was beautiful. It's a beautiful setup. There is no freaking way I can do that. And it's not just because I can't copy his design. Honestly, I could probably copy his design, but it's a copy, for one thing. And second, it's not really feasible or needed in a vanilla game. See, one of the things that goes along with when you're doing creative mode type builds and MC edit type builds is a lot of people will take stuff to the nth degree where it becomes, you know, not feasible. Because JL Zip Code had a completely blank area, okay? It was a completely blank area, and he had a drop trap going down, which immediately is a red flag for me because I can't do a drop trap. If I do a drop trap, then I can't do the whole 128 blocks up type thing. And I'm just going to get some torches for the next illustration. Now, that's all well and good for an MC Edit world. And he did show in the end how to do it in a vanilla world using MC Edit. But it has its issues. One of the big issues... well, actually, let me just go over one thing first. The reason that you can't do the whole going back here and all that stuff. Okay, let me start that part over again. The reason that this is like this and not copying his one going back here. Now, this is actually interesting. All these blocks are solid all the way to the top. Now, although this area is now making it so where there's a reduced spawn because this is not open, everything else is open, and it doesn't seem to reduce the spawning rates enough to make it, you know, painful. So this is actually acceptable. And there is not a single block anywhere in any of this that is spawnable area that does not have a solid block over the top of it within reach of this whole spawning pad. So it is essentially ideal in every regard. And it is. It works extremely effectively. Why do I have those there? I think this is supposed to be that way. Oh, yeah, that's because I left it in the on state. Okay, that's why. Yeah, the actual spawning area is like from this point over that way. So this is actually left in the fired state right now. But the only difference between this and JL Zip Codes is basically this is up closer and uses a lot less detailed stuff. And it, honestly, yeah, it's going to spawn faster. It's going to be more effective. It's going to be ideal. But you don't need ideal in vanilla. You just need them to spawn. And this works extremely effectively. I mean, look at this. There's only 2 blocks within this entire area where something could possibly happen. That would be this one right... Where is it? This one right here. Which I have a piece of something over. And honestly, this isn't even that close to over there. So I don't even think that's going to be an issue. Same with this one over here. These are so far away from that point, I don't even think that they can even bother anything. And I used the whole half slab trick to get the redstone down as far as I could. And I tried to use as few torches along the line as I could because torches seem to have an issue when you're doing the whole transferring the signal thing. I honestly had to use them all along this thing because we needed to transfer the information upwards. But okay, that didn't make any sense right there. Ignore everything I just said for the past 2 minutes or 30 seconds. But you get the general idea. It's just got a nice simple timer, and I got 2 different settings for how long it can have the delay. This one I don't even have functioning right now. That's a completely useless one. I just have it set up to be this one right here, and it's goes fast enough where it seems to be really, really effective. Now let's go ahead and restart this sucker. So, like so. That should do it. Now, here's where the reason that you can't use something like that, jail zip codes dropping design. I love it. It's great. But here's why you want to be able to go up to 128 blocks and do this, and not set up so it's going to be a drop trap where you can like sit here and just watch the whole thing. A lot of people just say, well, just light up the caves. Okay, so here's where that's got a problem. Okay, let's go ahead and pick a cave here. I already lit up one of these. I did this in a live stream the other day. Let's take this cave that I already lit up, right? And it's well lit. You can tell everything has got torches all over the place. And keep in mind, keep in mind, torches have a limited distance, so it's imperfect. It's very imperfect. Even though this entire cave is lit up, let's go ahead and take a look at the numbers here. Okay, so we got the block lights right here. Anytime it goes below 7, something can spawn. So let's take a look. 10, 9, 10, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 7, right there. So this one they can spawn here, can spawn here. Oh, they can spawn here easy. Oh, they can really spawn right here. Okay, so that's about 6, 7 blocks right there. Let's go over here. And we can do, oh, there we can do it again. They can spawn right here. Now, we can go over here. And, oh, they can spawn here. Can't spawn there, but they can spawn here. Now, it's unlikely because it's a light level of 7. And the actual light level in play actually has a factor. But it can happen. I mean, you're starting to see my point. Even if you go through and you use the whole trick where you go and do the glowstone with a piston thing to go and find as many caves as possible and light it up with as many torches as you can come up with, no matter what, I'm sorry, but you're not going to be able to light these up 100%. It's just improbable. Is it possible? Yeah, it's possible. But you're not going to be able to do it like this. You're going to have to do it like this. Like every freaking block that you come across, everything. You're just going to have to spam it with so many torches that it's like the sun is just beaming down here. And if you don't, you're going to end up with the blocks like over here. The ones where there's just enough block light. And not, I just lit up those other ones. Just enough block light for something to spawn. Now, you'd think, well, oh, but you're going to reduce the actual number. You're going to reduce the number a lot. And yeah, you will. When you do this, you will reduce a lot of the blocks that they can spawn. But here's the problem. I mean, how many blocks did we just leave in there? I'd say maybe what, like 50, 60 blocks? Something like that. Really? Unbelievable. Just won't let it go. It's like it knows. It knows. Even though it's a single player server, it just knows. This is for Mindcrack, so it's gotta rain. Frickin' ridiculous. Okay. But anyway. Let's take a look and say, okay, let's say we left about 50 blocks in there that have a low light level that it can possibly spawn. So not that big of a deal, okay? But that's one cave. One cave has maybe 50 blocks with a low light level. How about that cave? And that cave. And that cave. And that cave. And that cave, that cave, that cave, that cave, that cave. That one, that one, that one, that one, that one. And that's not including all those ones that you have to use the glowstone trick to see through the walls and find those little hidden pockets that you just cannot find. And every single time you leave one left over. This is really important, because if this is a mob trap where you design the whole thing with a giant dark room and you have like hundreds and hundreds of blocks where things can spawn, and you got this fully controlled so they're instantly going to drop and blah, blah, blah. When you can control the number of blocks, it makes a huge difference versus when you have a witch hut spawn trap where the only blocks that you can possibly have spawn are these right here, which is a 6x8 area. Is it right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, a 6x9 area times 2. It's like 108 blocks. That's it. So that one cave that has 50 some odd blocks in it is like halving the efficiency of this right here. If you stay within the 128 blocks, you can tell I'm standing here right now. We'll just back up a little bit, and nothing's spawning. Everything's spawning on the surface, but that's because it's not lit up. But you get, all right, hold on, set time day again. But you get the idea. So we're sitting on the surface, we're standing out of range, and nothing's spawning. But that's because all these caves are not lit up, and it would take forever to light them all up. So in reality, it's just not a feasible option. The only real good option for a vanilla server or a vanilla game is to just go beyond the block limit. So we're going to go right up. Now watch this. You can actually watch them despawn. You got that slime over there. So watch this. As soon as we get beyond range, bam, gone. And this is actually pretty cool too. Now, not only that, but you can actually watch them spawn and disappear. Hold on, we're going to go time set night. Let's set time set 15. There. Okay, so nice and dark. Now watch, you can actually see them. They spawn and they despawn. Spawn, despawn. You can see all the slimes that are just randomly showing up. And it's not just slimes, it's just harder to see the other things. If you look carefully, you could probably spot a random spider or a random creeper or random other things. But basically the one you can really see is the slimes because, well, they're huge. They show up at a long distance away. But as soon as you're beyond that height, they go crazy. Everything that's spawning right now that's sticking around is exactly within that particular radius. So they're just spawning away like crazy. And now here's why I decided to do a suffocation trap versus, you know, a drop trap. Because a drop trap, I'll tell you right now, it is faster. And it is probably better to actually just take them, have them go up there and go down that little spot and just drop the 30 blocks. Here's the problem. I can't see them. I don't see jack squat when they do that. So it's hard to really see that this is being effective. However, when we send them up the thermometer like this, and I'm sticking with that. This is now called the thermometer witch hut trap. I'm calling it that. I love it. When they're going up here, you can watch them, and it's like a game. You're watching them go up, and you're like egging them on to see who's going to make it up here. Now, the cool thing with witches is whenever they take damage, there's a good chance that they're going to use a health potion to heal them up. So there's a chance. Every once in a while, one of these guys is going to be drinking health potions enough where they're going to make it all the way up to the top. Oh, no, he didn't make it. How about this one? No, I don't think he's going to do it. No, he didn't go. And it's like watching a race. Who's going to make it? Who's going to do it this time? Come on, buddy. Come on. You can do it. It's actually like somewhat entertaining. And I love it. So that's why this is what I'm going to be doing, because this is just freaking cool. Because this gives you something to do while you have to sit AFK waiting. You don't have to be AFK. You could just be sitting. You can just be sitting here watching. Oh, wait. Is he going to make it? Come on, and oh, he made it to the top. There we go. So that's basically what we're going to be doing in the main server. Now, let's go back over there. I'll show you what I've got done so far. So let me just reposition right here, like so. Now, actually, hold on. Let me do the time set day real quick, and I can show you just how effective this is. Because we've just been sitting up there for about like 2 minutes. Working pretty good. I think it'll do just fine. And you notice, it's just witches. There's nothing else in this. There's no creepers, there's no spiders, no zombies, no slimes, no... Yeah, I had to, didn't you? You just had to. Honestly, I have no idea how they just got there, but... Okay, so every once in a while, something might randomly spawn. Now, the way to get around that is I did put in a failsafe in this. I should probably mention that. If you go above the 128 blocks of that top one, we can make everything despawn. So if we go all the way up here, bam. Now, the only things that are spawned are the stuff that's in that tube right now. Everything else should be gone. Everything. Including... Yep. They're gone. So probably every once in a while you just want to clear out the whole thing by going all the way to the top. It's a good fail-safe option for just clearing the thing out. So in the actual server, I'll probably just put a ladder up to a height where the 128 blocks is the actual maximum height, like up here. And that should clear it. Okay, so let's go over to the regular server and I'll show you my progress. Okay, so this is right where I left off. Literally. So I haven't, like, walked anywhere. This is the way to go down to the original drop trap. I still got stuff down there. I gotta move that stuff up here as soon as I get a room. Right now, I don't even have a room set up. I got a small little cubby hole right over here that's surrounding the glass. That as soon as I built it, I realized I don't like it at all. We're gonna have to move it. It's in a horrible spot. I'm probably gonna take this and I'm gonna move it over to this side. But let me show you around. It's pretty good. We gotta get rid of those guys first, though. Do I have enough arrows? Yeah, we got enough arrows. Because they're gonna kill us. No, actually, they should be fine. Okay, so, the first thing you're gonna look at is down here, everything's wood. And I did that on purpose. First of all, I decided to go with wood to stick with the theme of the witch hut. Just because it's... I mean, it makes sense. The original witch hut is wood, so it kind of looks a little bit better than just using stone for everything, like up here. I should have just done wooden half slabs for that. And someday, I might never change that. You know, knowing me. And second, when I cleared out all of this, let's just say I got a little bit of wood out of that. Like 6 or 7 stacks of logs. So, yeah, I'm set on wood for a while. Second, I did not switch it out to the soul sand, because I have not found it to be any more effective yet. I might at some point. Just because the soul sand, they sink down a little bit, and then they'll fall more accurately. But that's basically it right here. The whole part where it goes up in the air, that's barely set up. And right now, it's set up to go beyond the spawn point, so they'll actually... despawn inside that chamber down there at the current height that it's at. I haven't perfected that height yet. I'm not worried about that yet. The main thing I got problems with right now is the timer. The timer doesn't seem to want to function properly. At all. And it's ticking me off. Oh, Vex is here. Who else is here anyway? We got quite a few people on right now. Wow. Huh. Well, anyway. I actually also moved the timer mechanism so that we can move the wire coming from the center to bring it down so we get a longer distance without having to put in comparators or anything like that. Or, not comparators. Those repeaters. Those things. And it seems to be more effective. The next thing is, you'll notice that there's only one row of torches. When I put the one that I have on the single player is actually 3 blocks tall in between each one, and this one is only 2 blocks tall because that's how I originally built it. And that allows me to control this whole row from just that row of torches. And actually is pretty dang effective. Hold on, let me get... I can turn this one on and off without much of an issue. Where's that lever that I must have chucked it? It's alright. Or where that came from. So we can control the whole thing with one row of torches. I mean, the glitchiness behind some of this redstone stuff drives me absolutely crazy because for some reason that torch up there is controlling this empty block of air right here to control that down here. I don't know why that works. It shouldn't. It does. But that allows us to have a much smaller area for this thing. The one on the single player is actually 4 blocks. Well, I can't do time weather, or I can't do weather off here, can I? Whatever. Okay, but so it's just sad. Okay, but that comes down to here, and we have the whole timer set up here, and this does nothing right now. I got to compare this. I haven't figured this part out yet. I don't know what I'm doing with this. And this comes down into here. And let's go ahead and just start this up. And it actually works pretty good. Hold on. On one side. Actually, that doesn't even matter. We can just go like that. It doesn't matter if it's one full cycle or not. Because this thing makes it so that it goes pretty quick. So this side works perfect, right? Out and in. Out and in. Out and in. And let's look down. Oh, I was... Yeah, that's not the slightest bit loud. And it's an identical wiring, so it goes from here over to here, straight to this repeater, goes straight up the wire, right up to the mechanism. Does the same thing here. It goes straight here, straight to a repeater, where it fires. It goes straight up here. This one's I think this one has a slight delay. Actually, I'm sorry. This one has the delay. Okay. Let's try switching this. I want to try switching the delay. See if this works. Nope. Don't do a dang thing. You can hear it. This one's firing. This one's not. And I have no idea why. Because you can see over here, this is lighting up. Compare the redstone repeaters. They're lighting. They're doing their thing. It's firing the signal. Going straight up. Should be lighting the torches. It just doesn't. I haven't the foggiest idea as to why. I'm sure this is some north-south-west thing with redstone that I don't understand, nor do I want to, but now I'm going to have to learn it. But I'm thinking what I gotta do is I probably just gotta put a pulse extender down here to make it so that that particular one has a signal for just a moment longer, which isn't really that much of an issue. All I gotta do is basically make this to be 2 repeaters, and so and put one of the repeaters on a delay so it just has a signal last a little bit longer. That's not that big of a deal. I'm probably just gonna do that real quick at some point soon. I just haven't done it yet. Shut up. So we're just gonna turn you off right now. We're good. Okay. Then and after that, the only thing I gotta do beyond that is set an off switch. I just need to have an on-off switch that goes into the room that's over here that I haven't built yet, so that we can turn this thing on and off at will. And I'm not really good at making timers turn on and off. It took me a while to figure out this one over here too. This was the original timer. It's gone now. And it was sad because I took a long time. That one took me like an hour in stream, and it should have taken me like 5 minutes. But I'm just not good at timers. I don't like them. Then finally, the last thing that I did that's not too brilliant is I got to go back through here and I got to fill in all of these half slabs with another half slab to make it so that they can't see through here. Because every time I walk up here right now, I get blasted with potions. Because they spawn like crazy. Yeah? Yeah, it does work. Here, let me show you. We're going to go up here. So even though it doesn't actually function properly for the timers and all that stuff, it does still work. I just can't... they still spawn just as fast as you would expect that they'd spawn. Because there's still no spawnable area. Oh, hold on. Let's pay attention to the climbing aspect of this. There is still no other spawnable area within range, so it's still doing exactly what it's supposed to do. I do have it set a little bit high right now, and I'll adjust that. Let's see, the lowest possible spawnable point is 157, and 128 blocks from that is 57. So 157, 67, 77. 86, 85. So 185 would be the highest point that we'd want to actually go to, and we are currently going up to 187. So essentially, we want to drop if we want for the. By the way, odd thing, I pointed this out in the stream. Clouds, right? Rain. Where's it raining from? That makes sense. So 180 about here. Actually, let's go here. This is about where we want it to be because this will be the actual point where they're not going to despawn. And if we go up here a little bit higher, we'll get that despawning thing where it'll despawn everything except for what's in the tunnel itself. And this is going to be the glass tunnel. I just don't have enough glass right now. That's the only reason it doesn't exist yet. As soon as I have enough glass, I'll fill this in. They'll be coming up here, and the thermometer will be complete, and we can watch them die. But that's it for right now, guys. Let's just see how it did. Yeah, they're spawning. The only reason that there's not a ton more of them on here right now is, quite simply put, there's people on the server. When there's no one here, yeah, they spawn like crazy. It's extremely effective. But that's going to be it for right now, guys. You guys see what I'm going to be working on next. The next thing I'm going to be doing is just perfecting this. It's not that much left to do. It's actually pretty simplistic right now. I just got to get a few more tweaks and fixes in here, and then we're going to have a completely functional witch spawner. And not only a completely functional witch spawner, but one that you guys can copy and do in your world, because that's what Guudites all about, right? So that's it for right now, guys. This has actually ended up being a longer episode because there's a lot more explaining involved in this, but that's it for right now. I'm gonna call it. You guys have a good one.